Yeah, we right back in it, but I'm gonna properly introduce this crew here because I'm inspired. They made it, so we gonna show them a little love. This is the I'll let the intro tell you. Yeah, I definitely had to show love to the family. You know what I'm saying? This home team right here. So let me go ahead and introduce who we have here right now for you. I am one Jack Frost coming across your streamline, and what you're listening to, of course, is Outkast. But our special guest tonight on This Is the Spot Discussions is the SpeakerBoxx crew. Go ahead, y'all. Let them know.
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm L from SpeakerBoxx.
All right.
I'm Nika, marketing director of SpeakerBoxx.
All right.
Jay, marketing director of SpeakerBoxx.
This is a test.
SpeakerBoxx.
There you go. Had to end it off like properly. All right.
Like that.
SpeakerBoxx crew. All right, now I've been given like a little bit information on SpeakerBoxx crew or whatnot, but this is y'all platform, to showcase and let everybody know like what SpeakerBoxx is all about. Like, what are you bringing to the masses with SpeakerBoxx?
SpeakerBoxx is basically bringing to Miami what Miami hasn't had for years.
And what's
that's crowning our own music. Taking our music, giving it a platform, and running it, and actually being the ones making the money instead of going everywhere else and feeling like you're from Miami, but you can't really say you're from Miami because you don't have nothing to kind of like fall back on. So SpeakerBoxx would be that platform, just something for everybody to look forward to as far as in the music industry.
Okay. So it's primarily going to be music that's going to be showcased through SpeakerBoxx.
Well,
I mean, the name kind of says it, but
Yeah, SpeakerBoxx is definitely where we started at. Off as just music, and then we've been in business for so long, and
how long has it been?
Well, 8 years now.
Oh, okay.
8 years in existence. We started off at the flea market, 183rd Street.
Let them know. Let them know.
This is prior to the Miami Gardens era, and the Carol Mart era. But that's what the new generation knows it as.
Right, exactly.
But we've been in there for years doing our mixtape thing. We're actually like the first store to start doing mixtapes down in Miami before anybody else was, and this was Greg Street mixtapes, DJ Clue mixtapes, and things like that. Because at that time, people down here didn't know anything about mixtapes.
Mixtapes. Because we had mix CDs, mix CD number 23. You can still hear Bo the Lover. Shout out to him.
Exactly.
If you want to hear my song, listen to mixtape number 23.
Exactly.
Track 9, all that. Yeah, but
exactly.
But yeah, definitely that's a change of pace because we are. I mean, it's a melting pot down here. You know what I mean? It's a mixture of so many things. It doesn't make any sense for art to not come from there, music to not come from here. You know what I mean? So, the fact that, and speaking to L about the whole situation, like what, SpeakerBoxx is about and what it's trying to be, bring it to the forefront.
Well, it started as that, but then we evolved into what we are now, which is a mass music distribution.
Okay.
We're into selling art as far as fashion, culture, the whole hip-hop lifestyle. We have an artist development program that we're starting out to give those local artists who really don't know exactly how to go about manufacturing and distributing their own music. Because like down here, music is so easy to get caught up into a career/hobby.
Right.
And if you don't respect the business of what you're doing, there's no reason of really doing it.
That really brought me to like one of the main questions I want to ask you and the crew. Miami's primarily known as a party city, which is probably one of the reasons why they don't get much respect from any other area as far as business is concerned. But the business acumen that's something that has really been lacking. Like you look up and down the list, you know what I mean? Like no shade towards Luke or anything like that, but he's not able to do anything for Two Live Crew because some dude owns the masters to it. I mean, he owns primarily the Luke stuff, but the Two Live Crew stuff, that's why you just now hearing the album dropping for Two Live Crew now after years later.
Exactly, because that's what that's what a lot of young guys in our generation now, they don't respect it. I'm going to say they don't really respect it, but they don't have the idea of owning their own rights to their music as far as publishing, manufacturing, marketing, none of that kind of stuff, excuse me. But that's what SpeakerBoxx is here to do, to provide that platform to take you through our artist development program where we can help you engineer, mix, master, product your CD, and then we can put it on this shelf. We can do marketing. We have so many outlets to actually put you to the platform that you want to be at and owning your own rights to your music.
Okay.
So it's like kind of like it's your baby and you can protect it.
It's a difference between popularity and Forbes listen, and we want to get people to the point where, you know, they actually know how to make the maximum amount of money that they can, because that's really the issue. Like people get caught up in the popularity and I go in this strip club and everybody knows me, and it's like,
making
really, how much money did you really make tonight, you know?
Yeah.
And then a lot of other artists get caught up in thinking that a 360 deal or signing to a record label, you know, they made it, not realizing that signing a 360 deal, you know, they own your publishing, they own your, you know what I mean?
It was a great argument made by Nelly. Recently I saw on somebody else's spot. They ain't getting no. Yeah. You don't get that type of love over here. But they were talking about like Chief Keef. Yeah. Had he just sat and not signed a contract, he would have made that money a year later.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's not always like chasing after the sticker, the logo. Shout out to SoFlo, this logo. But, you know, you can build your own empire. You know?
It's depending on what type of patience you got, too. Because, like, somebody like Chief Keef, where he was, like, 16, 17 when he signed or whatever. Yeah. At that age, somebody's like, yo, I'm going to give you $1 million. $1 million? Let's do it.
I'll take it.
Let's do it.
California,
Exactly.
You're LA, you're in Chicago, you know what I mean, and lower income
community.
That's you made it. You know?
Yeah.
You're not failing to realize that
you could make up. You're not thinking of 10 years, 5 years in the future. You could have made way more money, but that $1 million.
Independent is the only real way to obtain wealth in this industry.
Absolutely.
Like you can notice one of the first independent artists that actually went into a record label and said that he didn't want them to sign him individually. He wanted them to sign a record label, which is Jay-Z.
Yeah.
He and you can see where he's at now, because that's the difference between owning your masters, owning publishing, and owning the rights to your music. You can do what you want to when you want to.
I think that's a pick and choose situation, because some might say Jay-Z. I take it a step further and say Cash Money.
Oh, I thought you were
not
say
even
Master P.
Not even like Master P was more or less a dummy deal. It was like, well, here, you're gonna die anyway, so here's a couple thousand.
But you get it, dog.
Yeah. But in Cash Money's case, it's like, that was the major coming up to him like, well, we don't know what the hell you're doing. I don't know what, you know. All right, fine. We'll go back. We'll sell. We'll hit the chitlin circuit and make our money that way. We don't need your money.
Yeah.
And that's really where the power lays at. Like, I know how to get it.
Yeah.
I'm asking you if you want to get some of it, which I don't even have to.
Exactly. Because the thing is with us, as far as our people and our culture, like they can't buy that from us. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what they come to us to look for: ideas, concepts, innovation, the new wave, what's cool. Because we know we're on the floor, we're on the ground up, so we understand the concept of actually putting together a project that people would be receptive to,
right?
As opposed to signing your deal, losing your rights, and then still having them have creative control over what they think you should do.
Exactly.
Next thing you know, you see your song on a Mazda commercial.
Exactly.
Your feelings are hurt.
And you don't get any of that. And R.I.P. Whitney Houston, she was the best, but she lived rich and she lived rich, but she died poor.
Yeah.
All off the simple fact that
Clive Davis was pimping the hell out that.
Exactly. Clive Davis, and one of her biggest single is actually on and that's not the race car, but the white woman, Dolly Parton, is one of her biggest songs.
Yeah.
Like, that's who who gets all her rights
she
right
put
now.
The flavor on it. She wrote it. It's like, Whitney, put that hot sauce on that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm getting all the residuals.
And I heard that the other night I was watching some special or something, and they said that it was only one song that Whitney wrote and owned the publishing too, and that was on the Bodyguard soundtrack, Queen of the Night. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
The one that nobody really paid attention to.
It wasn't like a super hit or nothing. So
it wasn't
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So as far as her repertoire and her catalog of music, you picked the Queen of the Night, and this is the only thing that you.
But that also
you're Whitney, you know.
You know what? It's tight. It's real cool that you guys are doing this because ironically, I saw an interview this week with Jamie Hector from, everybody knows him as Marlo from The Wire.
Yeah.
And he has a similar type of program. You know, it's a arts program where it's more or less to empower and educate everybody.
Let me pause you right there so I don't, you know, because that's ironic that you said that as well, because on the back end, what we're doing as far as with SpeakerBoxx, we have a nonprofit organization that we're starting up called the New Cool Foundation. And that is actually like a boys to men mentorship program.
Okay.
That, it's pretty much going to enlighten the youth on engineering, production, the music business in the whole. That way you can start off young as far as knowing what to do and how to actually get to the next level and at a young age. That way you don't make the same mistakes. You don't do the same. You don't go the same routes that we made as far as by default, you know,
wasting time
and things like that.
Do it.
Because no, I'm saying because that's what we miss as people is knowledge, and that's key. So I think that's big for us as far as just enlightening kids and giving them that confidence and that chance to actually know that, hey, I can do this on my own without looking silly or without X, Y, Z.
Right. That's exactly the thing that I saw that Jamie Hector did, because a lot of the things where there's, you know, you don't have to be behind the mic or, you know, anything of that nature. You can run the mic. You could do the mic.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's all that type of stuff that we, not just us, like this generation period, like you overlook like the little things, you know, because there's more things than just being on stage. You could be pulling the curtain, you know.
Yeah,
doing the lights, doing the sound, all of that stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff is dope. I mean, that's part of the whole thing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
If you can't see Jay-Z rap, it's not gonna be a good show.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you know, like we said, like our biggest thing as far as with the nonprofit especially is teaching, you know, the youth how to make money. Because one of our biggest problems here in Miami is that, you know, all the fraud and dope
scammers.
Money and it's kind of like you get trapped into it because you can't tell me that, you know, wait until I get out of high school, go to college, get a job to buy Jordans. I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's pretty much our biggest thing with the New Cool Foundation is teaching them how to make money doing something that they like doing.
Shining light on what's really cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is business ownership, which is
exactly, because that's the name of I'm sorry to cut you off, Jay, but that's the name of our foundation. New Cool Foundation is actually it's to change the perception of cool and what cool really is. Because now to, I guess, the simple-minded, or I guess the very immature mind, to that mind, cool is
swag.
As
purely swag.
Swag is swag, but demeanor is another thing.
Right.
Charisma is another thing, and that's what that's where swag comes from.
Right.
You understand?
Or what's considered cool between your other peers, what your other peers are doing, so that's automatically cool because your other peers are doing.
And down here in South Florida, you know, and Jack, you know, me and you, we went to high school. You know, me, all I wanted to do is play basketball. That was it. You know, and Big said it best when
wicked jump shot, you slang crack rock.
You had, and that's it. So down here in South Florida, seeing that we're very when we're strong at is in athletic field, the kids that really don't have that athletic ability somewhat in some form, like amongst their peers, they're the outsider. You understand what I'm saying? I have a nephew, he's 12 years old. My nephew he doesn't play video games. He doesn't like football, basketball, or anything. He plays the piano and he speaks like 3 different languages.
That's dope.
But to his social circle of people, he's like put on the outside.
That's like the hardest thing.
And and he's the most creative right now. I can sit and talk to my nephew and I'll forget how old he is because his mindset is so much mature, but he doesn't know how to apply that. And me personally, when I was younger, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that was big for me because I learned then how to redirect my energy. You know, I was very like temperamental. I had temper tantrums. I used to want everything my way.
Yeah, you were Cancer, so that kind of factors into it.
Very emotional.
Exactly.
I can relate.
Exactly. Yeah, my man's a Cancer as well.
Yeah.
So, but the best thing about us Cancer is like we work hard out of our emotions, and we put our passion on the forefront, and this is like my passion. This is what I really wanna, you know.
I can relate. I definitely can relate.
And changing something and leaving your mark out here is more bigger than anything to me.
Of course.
As far as like your impression on the youth, and just somebody can say, yeah, I remember such and such told me this, or I remember, because I can go back in my mental Rolodex when I was going through my whole trying to find myself. I can remember certain things that certain individuals told me that I still stick with to this day. So I think we want to be those people to really bring that out of those kids, because as a black urban community, we don't have that.
Right.
It's our mistakes and our you can say our trial and error is very, very much detrimental, because it's not like we go and we learn something by our mistakes, and by default we lose our lives. We're paralyzed, we're in prison. You know, these are our defaults. It's not.
So I'll ask you this then. Within the next 5 years, like, what do you see for SpeakerBoxx? Like, what's the outlook?
Definitely taking it to other urban communities throughout the United States. I mean, we're starting in Miami because Miami's our heart, and we feel like Miami needs it the most.
Right.
But, you know, definitely taking it to other communities along with the New Cool Foundation, and, you know, basically changing the meaning of, you know, coming up in the music industry and creating your brand, and actually allowing yourself, anybody who's a part of our program, to change the meaning of your last name. Like, that's really where it lies. It's like pretty much just doing things that your family can carry off of. When you think about names like Jordan and Jackson, like anybody you know with Jackson, it's kind of like, well, not now because, you know, we're more mature, but it was like Michael Jackson. Oh, your last name Jordan? You play basketball? Like you're somebody in that state, you know? Yeah. So it's just like, even if your last name was Williams or Vickers, Noonan, you know, however we decide to do it, it's just like changing that meaning, taking that on to, you know, the people in the family, bringing it down from generation to generation, and creating generational wealth. Like that's really what we want to do.
You know that success isn't elusive, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Going the right way and going the quote unquote correct way is
yeah, you can still do it your way. You can still do it your way in the correct way. It doesn't have to be systematically how
it's been told to be done.
Yeah, how they
Let
say
me ask
to
y'all,
do
how did y'all come together on this? Because, you know, this idea you all have going on between the business and reaching back to the youth of the community. 3 young people right here. How did y'all collectively come together and have the same mindset, hindsight, to focus on the same idea and want to give back to the community and be, progressive individuals in the Miami, South Florida area?
Okay, well,
how did y'all get together on that?
Me personally, I started SpeakerBoxx. This was in 2004 or 5. I'm not quite sure. It was years ago. But I started out just by trying to run away from the streets, you know? So when I started doing that, and I started being positive and actually making moves towards doing something for me, it was big, because it was something that you couldn't really explain to no one else, because it was a transition that you're going through yourself to actually, you know, witness like, wow, this actually can work. And like I tell my colleagues all the time, to have something that manifests like your ideas in your head, and to know that it will work, that's a real God feeling like that.
It's real empowering.
And
it's real
being
empowering.
able to give the youth the power to really manifest their ideas and make it happen, and not just feel like my ideas are worth nothing because I don't have capital to do so, or I don't have access, or I don't have resources to do so. You know what I mean? Really giving them the outlet where they can come to people who have experienced, you know what I mean, certain things, or who who are in a position to really put them in a position to do what they want to do.
Yeah, well, that's the true capital right there. Resources. Exactly. That's just as good. You know,
exactly.
If you have access and you know how to use it.
But you know, the access now is the people who do have the access. They exploit the youth and they exploit like who we really are. And I'm not gonna say any names, but we all know plenty local artists down here that's been local artists
for their whole life.
Yeah.
From 12 to 30.
Yeah, and that's it. And
still
it's like
local.
they're still local in the circuit, and I pay attention to it a lot. And I noticed that a lot of shows down here are strip clubs. That's it. If you can't rock the strip clubs down here,
life, man. You know,
you can't rock the strip clubs down here, you really can't get your record broke, and then you're like stuck there.
Yeah.
You're in the middle.
Purgatory.
You're in purgatory, but you can still see other artists like a Jason Derulo or a Pitbull,
right?
Or even Rick
Flow
Ross
Rider,
or Flow Rider,
right,
who respect the business of what they're doing because these guys have a little.
That's because they stepped out of hip hop.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say they stepped out of
that's true too.
Because you know, Flow Rider, he came out. I remember the first song I ever heard from Flow Rider was "I Don't Want No Cake"
on my
and
birthday.
then after that, he was like, "Forget this rap junk."
Yeah,
the club can't even handle me right now. So you know, he switched his whole style on him, man.
And that's
unfortunate.
Business. This is a business,
and that's the cool thing because a lot of guys, a lot of aspiring artists think that. Oh, shoot 'em up, bang bang, crack this and crack that is what's hot because that's the only kind of
lane
that they're given.
Right.
And that's kind of like how we pretty much came together is stepping outside our box.
Right.
You know, like if you never step out of your box, you can't do anything different.
That's pretty dope.
Right.
I commend y'all on that.
Definitely.
Pretty dope for real.
But while we still got time, we got one more person. Let us know, you know, the whole how it all came together because we've got two. Just need one more.
I mean, as far as what, how did
SpeakerBoxx come together? Yeah, the whole team came together.
Really, you know, me and Tanika started a marketing company about a year ago.
Okay.
Started with social media, had various clients, you know, from Wingstop to various aids, you know.
We actually work with Luke.
Yeah,
we work with Luke.
Yeah, she does marketing for Luke too.
Oh, shout out to Luke then.
But yeah, we started marketing and really just got into a lot of different ventures and realized that this is something that, you know, we have the opportunity to empower and change certain individuals' lives and really give them access to certain things because that's just, I guess, how it started, just seeing that I could do this and really I have the opportunity to do it, so why not do it? That's, I guess,
it's like when you reach out, when you're like pretty much looking for something else, you always run into the right people.
Right.
And that's how we ran into L. So I mean, from the time that we've met, we're kind of like inseparable. We always do everything together.
Yeah, we do everything together.
And that's cool. I definitely look forward to having you guys back on the show.
Definitely, man.
Maybe on time next time.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize for being. And I just was telling them the whole way upstairs, like I hate being late. I hate being late. I hate being late.
It's cool. It's definitely cool.
We brought you guys presents. We brought you guys.
Yeah. They brought gifts. They brought gifts.
We came with gifts.
Yes. But it's a celebration, y'all.
Yeah, celebration. Let's toast to
the spot.
The spot.
Definitely.
Let's do that.
Definitely.
Let's toast to the spot and to Slow Flow Radio.
Slow Flow. See, he's slurred already. So
yeah, that's what that was right there.
Slow Flow Radio. But anyway, we want to thank y'all for checking us out. Y'all see us on YouTube and everywhere else. This has definitely been the spot right here on SoFlowRadio.com. Later.